All right. Thanks so much for doing this on the fly. I won't keep you forever. Um,
Yeah, no problem, man.
God, I have the worst set. Like you would think after, like I've been doing this for longer than I thought, and I meant to like up my game or whatever with my setup, and of course, that never happens. So I probably,
Let
I probably never will. I don't care.
me know if I can help you with that, dude.
Oh, you probably can. Oh
I
yeah,
got abilities.
Oh yeah, definitely down for some advice and stuff. I mean, you were yeah, right. I know you're like, I don't have the setup, and here you come with your like 3D animations and
I
everything
forgot
like
I
that.
wore the wrong shirt though.
Oh my God, that
I
is,
only have half of my green screen, so it's just not I'm not ready. I don't
yeah,
no $1 million comics cam. That's the big problem.
yeah, I know. Well, the internet misses you, so it's nice that you're going to make a little appearance here. But
Oh
I
man, it
know.
makes me happy that you invited me. I appreciate it. I kind
Well,
of
I
invited
mean,
myself.
who else? No, who else could I talk? Maybe I should do the introduction and we should just start talking so
Yeah.
that we don't waste it. Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. I am so excited today. We have Dan Shaheen here, darling Dan Shaheen, to talk about my latest Kickstarter that just launched. And he is the perfect person to talk to this about because he probably was sort of like the Jiminy Cricket in my ear, maybe perhaps inspiring me to want to do this in the first place. We're talking about the Elementals Public Dominion Kickstarter. It's going to be a big, beautiful tribute to Bill Willingham and the Elementals. It's going to be a scrapbook combining old and new art, interviews and articles, and a couple of new strips imagining what a new direction on Elementals might look like. For those of you wondering, no, this is not a relaunch. I do not have the rights. We will get into that shortly. But as far as we're concerned, and as far as its creator, Bill Willingham, is concerned, Elementals is public domain due to the terms of his agreement with whatever. We'll get into that. But
Let's
anyway,
talk about
all right, I know. So
that.
anyway, the Dan Shaheen probably loves the Elementals just as much as if not more than I do, and he is the perfect person to talk about this current Kickstarter. Like I said, you probably did inspire me, and one of the catalysts was you interviewing Bill Willingham and him declaring the Elementals as public domain on your YouTube channel. So I kind of feel that's a historical moment. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. MFT, by the way, my favorite living comic book YouTuber right now.
Thank you so much. And I will try to stay living as long
Just
as I
keep it
can
alive.
so I don't have to join the other list of
Oh my
your
gosh.
favorite YouTubers.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
know, breaks my heart, honestly. That was an inspiration for my show as well. Apparently, I'm just a sponge being inspired, but
I'm
I'm
not
very
trying to,
susceptible.
yeah, I don't want to name drop. I mean, dude, I got the note from him. I got emailed the note from him when it happened. Like
Uh-huh.
he sent an email out about the end email. I'm talking about Ed.
Of course,
And
yeah.
and uh and it was just dude, heartbreaking and tragic. It's one of the many reasons why, one of several reasons I should say, why I have not been back on YouTube much beyond like juggling videos once in a while. um
Yeah, I mean, it really was hit a lot of people very hard.
Crazy.
Like I said, their channel was an inspiration for my own show.
For
Obviously,
sure.
it's
And me
copies it
and
a lot,
me
and I even developed a relationship with Jim Rugg. He did the cover for my Big Bang Comics anthology, and I wouldn't consider him like a friend or anything, but definitely a colleague. And I never had a relationship with Ed, but I respected him and.
Yeah.
I feel like it was such a wake up call because, like, during the whole scandal, I was like, oh Christ, here we go again. And I just thought, like, I never saw the outcome coming. Like, I didn't,
Yeah.
like, I just thought, God, if people should, like, and then we lost Bernie Miro this week. And I was just like, people should, I don't know. I just felt so bad. Like, Bernie Miro is part of my Elementals journey in a way
Yes.
because Elementals is what I always called it my gateway to indie comics. It was published by
Me
Kamiko.
too.
the best independent comic publisher ever. Who, you know, when I interviewed Chris Rael, I compared kind of IDW to Kamiko, and he appreciated the compliment because I feel like, you know, they sort of really set the standard for what a great comic book company should be.
Absolutely.
Licenses, you know, creator owned properties, original content, comics for kids, comics for adults, cutting edge, you know, the Maze Agency, just so many great comics.
Full color, like way ahead of their time in coloring technology and everything. Wraparound covers, Dave Stevens covers on a lot of their stuff.
Oh,
Like,
Dave
like
Stevens, my
wow,
God, I know. Like,
high
it's just
watermark
a
for
wealth
sure.
of embarrassment, like a talent all over the place. And or I said that phrase wrong, but what? Forgive me. Um, I meant an embarrassment of talent,
Riches, yeah, of
riches. There
course,
you go.
of
And
course.
you know, it introduced me to the Pander brothers. Like I said, Bernie Miro, Matt Wagner's Mage. I mean, Jesus Christ, hit me with a lightning bolt, God. It was
Yeah,
such a revelation.
if Elementals was the only thing they published, they would be super huge and important in my mind and my heart. But all those other things that you just said are why, like Komiko, I just like there's an amazing story behind it that somebody really needs to tell.
There is. I would, you know, it's like, and I'm running out of time here. But you know, I would love to like start making amazing comic book documentaries. And, you know, that's part
Yeah.
of the reason like I do my show. And I think someone had talked about that. Like, I am so glad that I interviewed Trina Robbins, you know, who we
Oh
lost
yeah,
this year,
yes,
living
yes.
legend. And, you
I
know, it was
regret not doing it.
Oh, I mean, that's why I mean I hate to say it, but sometimes people's ages are
Dude,
you know, like I don't know, you know, those are stories we'll never get from anyone but the person
absolutely.
that it happened to. So it's worth documenting, and you know that'll go on, you know, in history. We'll always have that. And she was so sweet and wonderful, and just it was like magical, you know.
Multiple legends past that I really wanted to talk to, especially Kevin O'Neill. I mean, I knew Trina. I luckily I had met and knew Trina pretty well.
Uh-huh.
And Kevin O'Neill, I actually had met. I hosted a signing at my store many years ago. So I really got to spend some good time with him. But both are just humongous losses to the
Yeah.
art form, I think. But let's talk about elementals.
Let's talk about elementals. You know, look at that beautiful cover in the back. Like that is so iconic. I used I had one of the artists from my Big Big Bang anthology who contributed like one of the some of the most talked about art in the book, Todd Blackwood, do a cover recreation, which is the banner for our Elementals campaign. And you know, obviously it's a slippery slope using I didn't want to use Bill's art for the campaign. And, you know, like I think that the image is iconic enough, and it kind of really represents what I want to do with the book as far as marrying the old and the new.
It's a
Um,
perfect choice, Michael. This cover is like that is the choice because it says so much about the celebrity nature of what elementals were like. Like Willingham was so ahead of his time with this concept, not just the concept, but the execution of this comic. He does not get enough credit because he's a great writer, but he's not a writer. He's a cartoonist, right? Like he drew this cover and he drew the interior of most of the first X issues and is top deserves so much more credit on the scale. Like he's not the writer of fables. He is the cartoonist and creator of the elementals. This is his crowning achievement, in my opinion. And I know from speaking to him, he has a really soft spot in his heart for it. He knows how ahead of its time. He won't say it, but he has to know that this book coming out in 1982, there was nothing like it. Nobody had mature reader, adult superheroes. Nobody was plumbing this territory, and he did it in a way that was so unique and so Bill. Like for him, it's always magic. He's a D&D dork in his heart.
mhm.
And it's Elementals is it's all mad. It's not science fiction like most superhero comics are. It's fantasy. it's and it woven into history, even like it literally goes back to prehistoric times, the beginning of the story, right? If you were to chart the timeline all the way through biblical times into today and into the far future as well. And he had that plan from day one that he started it, like all the big secrets and show-stopping surprises that showed up, like even in the later parts of series 2, he had planned for all from the very beginning.
It's listening to you talk. It's funny that because I do feel he is in a way a little dismissive about them, and I do agree that in his heart he is very beholden to them, because anytime I mention them or talk to him or whatever, he's always posting like old Elementals art on Twitter X, and how could he not? It's just beautiful. The art just really drew me in. It's very John Byrne-esque in a way, um, compatible, and it's just
Very
fun.
Michael Golden-esque, I think, too. He
It
took a
is. There's
lot of influence from Michael Golden.
100%, who did the cover of the Justice Machine annual with the Elementals' first appearance.
The very first look anybody ever got of the Elementals is a Michael Golden cover. Like, how awesome, how much better of a debut to the world could you get?
Well, Michael Golden was very much like a Jim Lee or a Neil Adams as far as being an artist who launched 1,000 ships and influenced many artists. Art Adams wouldn't exist without Michael Golden,
Oh, I
I
didn't
don't
know
think.
that. I didn't
Um,
know that. That makes
yeah,
perfect sense. That makes exquisite sense to me, though.
yeah.
And I know he worked in he was like behind the scenes at Marvel during the Quesada Renaissance too, and working like just in production, kind of like really
Mm-hmm.
like just making things sing. And that was a time of amazing covers for Marvel. It was one of Marvel's most fertile creative periods.
Yeah, well, that was his background was in advertising. He came from that, like Neil Adams, and
Ah, yeah.
brought a lot of that. Like you see,
Yeah,
like if you look at a lot of his old covers, like the She-Hulk cover with the color holds and stuff, that was
totally.
not typical for what everyone was doing at the time. So yeah, very innovative.
Yeah, he
Um,
knew about all that stuff, right? He knew about
mhm.
like how he could request a color hold or all these extinct, you know, technological terms now that they don't, now everything's digital, like they don't do it like
Yeah,
that
there's no
anymore.
appreciation for that. And speaking of Jim Rock, that was like one of my huge mad respects for him is like his love of the process and exactly
Big
like
time,
how the
big
book is
time,
made. And I've had him on my show, and just to talk to him about all that, I could talk to him about that for hours.
big time.
And it is endlessly fascinating to learn all the tricks of the trade. And yeah, I know it's like I for convenience, I do all my art on my iPad now, just because I live in a small apartment with my partner, and I can't have like all my shit all over the place, like I want to. But I miss physical art, so I bought a bunch of blank uh, uh, sketch cover comics that I'm swearing to return to physical art and do a few of those.
Well, I'm just super thrilled about that you're doing this Elementals project, because you're the only one with the courage who's testing the waters right now. Like,
Well,
would you want to talk about that? Do we
yeah,
want to, should we
absolutely.
get
No,
into
because
that?
we should, because that's a big question on a lot of people's mind. And honestly, it gives me palpitations. It keeps me up at night. It
I
almost got
didn't know
me.
if you even wanted to bring it up, to be honest. You could edit this out
Well,
if you want, because maybe you don't want to tempt anything, but I think you're okay, and I'll tell you why if you want. Like,
okay. I think I'm okay too, but okay. So Andrew Rev, who bought Kamiko, owns the rights to the Elementals.
he
However,
doesn't. He doesn't. He purchased the rights to the Elementals.
correct. Okay, why don't you tell us, Dan? Okay,
Okay,
so
so
this
yeah.
is the slippery slope of this whole project, and from Dan's mouth.
Okay, so I've not met him in person, but I've had multiple long conversations with Mr. Rev. And he terrific productions. If you check out his he had a Twitter presence for a while back there where he was talking a lot of game about what was going to happen from that domain name seems to have lapsed right now, and it's not owned by anybody anymore. So I don't even know the status of that company. Anyway, Andrew Rev and his brother, I believe, bought Komiko. and negotiated the rights, along with that, negotiated the rights to the Elementals with it. And Bill decided at the time, he's like, look, I've done enough Elementals. He worked with Rev, was sort of like not fun to work with. He's like, look, I don't want anything to do with this guy. I'll sell him I'll sell off my rights to the character. I'll license my rights to the characters and setting to him. And there are terms that have to be lived up to under that license in order for him to keep the license. It is not like I wrote you a check and I now have full rights to these characters in perpetuity. He had obligations he had to fulfill. And I'm not going to get into any of the specifics because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an expert, but this is how Bill explained it to me. And that since he has not lived up to the rights of that license, his ownership has lapsed. And so the rights reverted to Bill, who has released them to the public domain. That is something you can't undo either.
Amen. And I feel that's all we need to know because,
Yes.
it's like Michael Turner, speaking of past genius artists, released his Fathom book. There was a Fathom series, miniseries from Kamiko that was protected by copyright or not, I guess. And, that was an opportunity for Andrew Rev to come out of his cave.
He did not.
And he did not. The Disney's Elemental movie, another opportunity. I mean, of course, he's not going to go up against Disney for some 40-year-old copyright. But here's the thing, and it's like Bill said on your show, he told me that, he's quasi involved. You know what I mean? It's like I was going to have him do the cover. He was going to do it if he had time. And then he sort of, I guess, didn't have time. So we're going to use the cover.
He is slow. He's a very slow artist these days.
And you know what? But that was a question in my mind too. It's like, and he had that question himself. We agreed that I would color it. He's not the artist he used to be. And he was concerned about if he felt, and I wanted him to feel confident in it too. You know what I mean? I want him to put forth a cover he's proud of.
Yeah.
And I haven't, I don't know, like secretly, I hope like he springs a new cover on me at the last minute and we use it. But otherwise, I'm using the cover of Amazing Heroes, a beautiful image that has never been an Elementals cover. The Elementals are in color and the Destroyers are in black and white in battle. It's beautiful. I tracked down the original owner who is going to scan it for me and let me use it. And that led me to finding a bunch of other original art owners. So I'm going to include like a artist edition section and have like scans of Bill's original artwork. I
noticed you put some of those up on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah, I did.
And they look great. I just saw them today. And
I know. I'm like an idiot. I launched the Kickstarter without pictures in the story, and someone pointed it out. But I had Eli Schwab from Cosmic Lion holding my hand last time, and this time I'm on my own. And he's my spiritual guide and guru. Like he's there for advice and stuff. But I've had to figure a lot of stuff out. And I am an idiot. I'm a cartoonist. I'm a good editor. You're gonna get a gorgeous freaking book. It's gonna be freaking amazing. It gets more and more amazing every day. I have Michel Fife commission that he did for a fan that they're allowing us to use. I have an old Clive Hamilton piece that is stunning that I recolored for the book. There's this cool ass thing. I'll have to send you the pages, but this guy has these weird and I really would love if Bill could give me some insight. I'm gonna have to send them to him, but it's like before Elementals #1, he did like a bunch of pages that would have been in Elementals #1, and they're almost like fully penciled and stuff, and they're freaking gorgeous, but they're not finished. And so there's 6 of them, and they'll be part of the book. So I feel like that's one of the real, because this is for fans, you know what I mean? I am throwing in some of the new stuff just to sort of, I don't know, modernize it, make it good for the cartoonist kayfabe kind of crowd and, indie comics people of today or whatever. Tony McMillan is in it. Christian J. Misi Mo is in it. Omak Vera. A lot of people from My Big Bang.
Tony Farrow.
Tony Farrow just did this
Milo.
stunning one. Milo Trent has contributed several
Milo.
pieces.
It's my man.
Uh,
I've got a piece I've been working on with Milo for a couple years that was supposed to go in the 1963 annual.
I saw your teaser of that, and it's gorgeous.
Coming
It is
soon.
gorgeous. Yeah,
Coming
I
soon.
can't
Mini
wait.
comic flip book, maybe.
And this is why, unfortunately, unless Dan can pull a new interview with Bill out of his ass, that you're not going to be in it because it takes him too damn long to finish
Totally.
anything. Yeah,
I've
sorry.
got and I'm on track for an interview with Bill in about a month. He said a month ago, he told me wait 2 months and then ping me again. And he's a man of his word. So I feel like we're on track for that.
Well, I feel confident about it, and I feel like maybe in addition to, if not, if we don't get a new interview, but or we can do both, we can. I would love to excerpt, the interview you did with him where he declares the elementals public domain.
I declare the text of that interview public domain. You may do with it as you will.
Oh, thank
NFT.
you very much. And another thing I wanted to reach out to David Anthony Kraft from Comics Interview Magazine to put in the interview that Bill did from years ago, because I also have the person who owns the original art going to supply that scan for me. And Mark Wade did the interview.
That'd be excellent.
But David Anthony Kraft is dead.
Yes, so, I was just about to say, I thought he died.
So I think I'm just going to put it in anyway. I mean, it's
there you go. Do it.
It's a defunct magazine from 40 years ago, and I don't know. Why not? Why not? Willingham, why don't I just push it as far as I possibly can?
I don't remember the content of it, but I do remember he did a pretty good Comics Journal interview.
David Anthony Kraft. Oh, okay. So, did he? Okay. Well, so the reason I feel like it's good to include the Amazing Heroes. Oh, and I want to do the Amazing Heroes interview too. Mark Wade might have done the Amazing Heroes interview.
That sounds more likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I want to include that is because that's the cover. So it'd be fun to include that. Plus, it's some historical context. You know what I mean?
That book was great. Amazing Heroes was
I loved it.
Fantagraphics, but if you like superheroes.
And they got original covers. Yeah. They got original covers that were freaking gorgeous. Oh my God, like masterpieces that wouldn't be on the regular monthlies. And that's why it's perfect for our book,
Man, I'm really looking forward to your book. The only thing I want that I don't know it's in there, and maybe there is, but I want new Elementals. I want new Elementals comics. That's all I want. I just want somebody to pick it up. I want as many people as possible now that's public domain. Pick it up and just make new Elementals comics. Make stuff in the future. Make stuff in the past. Remix it.
That's how I feel. I kind of feel about this and that's how I feel a little justified in even making it, because it's sort of like when you go to the grocery store and you pick up a People magazine, expose on Jaws or whatever. This is my People magazine expose on Elementals, historical shit, a bunch of art. It's for fans and collectors. It's not a new relaunch or whatever. I'm not going to get rich. I just want to pay for the damn printing. It's a nice keepsake to sort of have it all in one place, like 40 years of Elementals.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? So if you're that fan, or if you got the Big Bang anthology that I did and know I can make amazing books, or if you're just a fan of my channel, or if you're like 80s nostalgia or whatever, if you just like a good book, you should definitely contribute to this book. There's gonna be a link to the Kickstarter in the description of the video. It's still going on till October 3rd, so you have a little time, but I suggest you jump on it right away.
Absolutely.
The Tony
Run,
Wolf,
don't walk, run.
Tony Wolf did a recreation of the cover of #1 that I colored for the book, which is amazing, and offered the original art as a reward, and it's already sold. So congratulations,
really?
Tony, and to the lucky owner. It's like a good piece for your collection.
Tony's piece is awesome, but man, there are some other pieces too that you have just on that Kickstarter page that are just sumptuously delicious. Just that web page is almost enough for me, like to get I'm super fired up for Elementals.
I know that. See, that was it too. I was just like, it's like I feel like I want, I want to do something for the Elementals. I feel like Bill Willingham like impacted my life in a way that he will never know or understand. And this is really the best way I can thank him, by sharing this with the fans in the world. Like, it shaped me as an artist, as a reader, as a
Dude, look, this book, it's not appreciated enough, even amongst hardcore comic fans of our vintage, right? Not that many people really read Elementals. And this is not like Willingham putting Little Red Riding Hood into the public domain like he did with his fables. These are really rich, complicated, adult characters, like the likes of which you haven't seen in comics before and not very much since, as far as if you're talking about a continuing regular superhero comic. This was the thing that was like, you think Watchmen was superheroes in real life? That's what Elementals was in before Watchmen, before Dark Knight Returns, before The Authority and Planetary and all these other books that I don't think could have existed without this book, or they wouldn't have been as good if they did. Because
right.
this book is like a mind-bending journey from beginning, like through many volumes. Every single issue, though, is like a done in one almost. Like you can read single issues, but yet the overarching saga and story is so epic, so surprising, so dark, so adult, and just so good. There's almost nothing like it. There's really very little to compare Elementals to.
There is, but although it, and yeah, you have to reach outside of the superhero realm because
Yes.
I feel it was a predecessor. In a way, it was like almost as if David Lynch did superheroes, or if Twin Peaks meets superheroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It
don't know what the right, even what the
and
right
very misleading because, like I said, I was drawn in by this bright, beautiful superhero art, these
bingo.
characters, and then I'm reading it and like positively like blown away about by the craziness of the stories and what you're reading, and it's like you said, like it's nothing you've ever read before, and you can't stop reading it. And like I realized that Bill Willingham did draw quite a lot of issues where in my memory it's not that many,
It's a
probably
lot.
just because I was so voracious for it that I hated when he left and like really wanted more. um but it's like it's funny, I wish he would have held on to it and just like, why leave to work for Marvel or DC? He had his Hellboy, he had his uh his IP, his property, you know what I mean? He
Could
could
you
have
imagine this as a
uh, uh,
streaming series?
this could be a Netflix series easily. This could be a movie franchise easily. I mean, and every only the best heroes are only as good as their rogues gallery or
Oh my
villains, and
gosh.
the Elementals has major villains. It's interesting to point out that their rogues gallery, the Destroyers, actually preceded the
Yes.
Elementals because Bill Willingham, the TSR role playing guy, Villains was the illustrator for Villains and Vigilantes, the manual for the role playing game, and created these characters as part of it. So, a lot of these characters are in there, and they are so cool. And a lot of people have a lot of love. I saw some love for this campaign in Villains and Vigilantes group on Facebook. So
Oh, okay.
I was
I've
happy
never
about
seen,
that.
I've
So
always, that's the elusive like grail for me. I've never seen a copy of it.
I know. I was kind of like, oh no, no, there's something new I have to hunt
Yeah,
down.
that's
Shoot.
one I would really, even if just for the Willingham illustrations, but the copy too would be great.
No, this is the Justice Machine. This cover is by Byrne. Oh, this is not the one with the elementals in it, is
No.
it? Okay, then I did. I grabbed the
There's a
wrong one.
mini series, crossover mini series, Justice Machine and Elementals. That's really good.
Yes, there is. And people probably have questions like, I'm not in the elementals took a really weird like turn, leaning
Yes.
heavily into the sex issues, sex, for YouTube's censors. But the infamous, I feel like I want to have like a Raven Perez or like a a Joe Jablonsky do like a parody of the dolphin cover, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
Okay, well, let me try and talk you into it for just a second, Michael, because I'll say this. Elementals always had sex in it. Elementals was always meant to be adult. It was always sexy and had sex implied. They did this one sex-ish special, right? That was very good by Willingham. And when Andrew Rev saw, it was in black and white, mind you, he saw that you could charge the same price for a black and white comic if it was pornography that you could for a color one, but it costs way, way less to produce. To him, that was what was so great about the Elementals. That was the thing. So that's why suddenly Sex Special 2, 3, 4, whatever, and straight down the
How
toilet
to
after
ruin a
that.
franchise in 3 comics.
But so yeah, it was always, Becky having sex with a dolphin, a were dolphin, was always part of the plan, and was like, that's a Willingham thing, and sex belongs in Elementals. But yeah, they took it to a really silly extreme.
Maybe I could make it in a very comical way, and just be like, yeah, we're not doing this.
And I'll say one more thing about villains, though. The Destroyers were great, but it was Saker. It was Saker telling Tommy his origin story. And I forget which issue of Elementals. It might have been number 2 or 3. They're on the island, and he tells the story of how old he is, and how he was essentially resurrected by a madman who was Jesus Christ. It is an amazing, like that to me as a kid reading that story. It was the first time a Catholic boy, it was a mind blower and world changing to me. I was like, what? And it just hints at the depth, and it's not like he was like an edgelord in this stuff. He is very thoughtful, mixing mythology and religion and fantasy literature into this thing that is the Elementals.
I know. I think some of the creators and probably some of the fan base, voiced their concerns over Bill's political beliefs or whatever. And, I'm sorry, but like, and to illustrate someone's point, they used 3 examples posting articles that read directly to Ethan Van Sciver. So if you're gonna malign someone, at least get the right effing person, okay?
So let me guess, it was something about him being pro-Israel.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm sorry, but if this makes me a bad person, I don't care about. I mean, unless it's really egregious, I don't care about politics. I don't care about cancel culture. I care about paying a tribute to an amazing book that changed my life when I was little.
Here's the thing. Bill did say that Fables was based on like some Israeli military strategy, but I'm a Palestinian guy here to tell you, Bill is not a racist. Bill is nothing but a great storyteller and artist. So don't worry, it's not anti-Semitic, and it's not. There's nothing. You need to. I've read almost everything that guy's ever written. If anybody was going to be offended by his politics, I would know what to be offended by. I don't think you can tell Bill Willingham's politics from his art necessarily.
I don't think so at all either. And I'm just like, you know what? Then move on. Just get in the next line. Whatever. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care. This book is happening. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
Dude. You want new Elementals? Well, I'm very happy to tell you that Jason Foster and I, who did the amazing Protoplasman story for Big Big Bang anthology, have cooked up a new 3-page Captain Cadaver story that is off the chain. It is so good. I cannot wait to share it with everybody.
Another great Elementals villain, right?
I know the design. Like, speaking of Saker, I always loved his costume because the little hawk on his chest or whatever always reminded me of the Phoenix effect from the X-Men. I don't know. Yeah. I just love it. It was very superhero-y, but very dark. Like Chrysalis. How cool was Chrysalis?
Oh my gosh.
And that storyline was amazing. They're just, honestly, I love the Elementals so much, and I would love to launch a new series. I would love to get into the psychology of them being dead and resurrected. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many.
Did you read Pantheon?
I did not.
Get it.
Okay, I will.
Because it's really actually hard to even see it. It's supposed to be like where he wanted to go with Elementals.
And I kind of hate that because I feel like like Barry Windsor Smith did that with Adastra in Africa. It was
Uh-huh.
like the what Life Death 3, the Storm
Yes.
X-Men story was
Yes.
supposed to be. So I'm just like, if I'm reading it and it's kind of like, I can't believe it's not the Elementals, I'm gonna feel a little screwed.
Yeah. Well, and he did that with his monsters book too. Was like a Hulk book, Barry Windsor Smith.
Oh, but that actually,
But I'll,
that
but
was like
Pantheon is
saving
just
Pri
good
man.
comics. Is all I'll say. It's
Monsters was so good. Like I don't even think I could read it again though. It was like so heavy and like dark and just like
I
haunting.
didn't like it until I finished it. Like
Yeah,
it got better and better and better. He was doing really interesting story
that kind
things
of
with
makes
time and
sense.
storytelling. I was like, what is going on? And then I'm
You could
like, oh,
almost feel the
whoa.
decades it took to complete.
Yeah, for sure you could. Um, so yeah, and let's hope Elementals doesn't have more decades before we see good comics. And I'll say this, guys, look at the quarter bins. Go out there and just find copies of Elementals because they're out there. They were in really big print runs for the time. So they exist and they're not that expensive and they're better than most of the comics being published
They're
today.
good, and they hold up. They're so good. And you
They
know,
hold up.
I thought Big Bang Comics was the best kept secret. Elementals is the second best kept secret because people, you know, in trying to find artists and art and stuff, people were it was scarce. Like, who knows about this? So that's another reason to do this. I'd love to just introduce the Elementals to an all new audience of people. People have been clamoring for this book. If Andrew Rev rears his ugly head and stops it, of course, I'll have to uh, agree. Or
Don't even say that. Don't
but
even
what
jinx it.
but what I'd rather do is just interview him, make him part of the book. You know
Yes,
what I
do
mean?
that.
Get his blessing. I'm not like I said, I'm not going to make money. I just want to have it
Boom. There you
printed.
go.
You
Do
know,
that.
he is a part of this. It's history, and he's welcome to be a part of it. So you know, that's
Right.
for for anyone worried about it. And like I said, I have Bill's blessing. It's going to be a great book. The Kickstarter is live now. Dan Shaheen is awesome for helping me promote it to you guys because it really is that good. The series is amazing, totally worth checking out. Like you said,
It
dive.
reads like a modern comic in the sense that if you read a Marvel or DC comic from 1982, it is dreadful to read. Like the way they paced it, the way they wrote it, they're terrible. Like even a Frank Miller comic from 1982 stinks to read.
Mhm.
Elementals reads like a comic with today's pacing and mindset and thoughtfulness. Like it's so ahead of its time in every way, storytelling included.
100%, 100%. Well, is there anything else you would like to add here, Dan? I know I don't want to keep you all day.
Now you can edit out my superlatives and crazy comments and whatever you want out of this thing, but Michael, I'm just thankful to you that you're picking up this banner and running with it because I would love to do something like that. I have none of the skills required to do any of the stuff that you're doing. You proved with Big Bang, you've got the track record to show you could put out like a super pro, incredible looking book.
Thank you.
So anybody who's on the fence, like, will this be one of those crappy Kickstarter things with a bunch of filler crap? It won't be. It will be full of a bunch of filler crap, but only the finest quality filler crap, the kind of filler crap we love and we ache for. So get it today, please.
Amen. That's right, Dan Shaheen.
I
I
think
would
you're
like
gonna do it. You look like you're at almost half.
we just right before talking to you, we are exactly at half, exactly like to the
Good.
dollar at half, and
Good.
that's I feel a little like I felt like this could really go either way. The fact that I wasn't at half like in the first couple days, I was like, this is so dicey, but I feel like I'm going to be on Dollar Bin Bandits to talk about it soon. And I feel like that'll be a great audience to expose it to. So I'm going to do everything I can within my power, like I always do, because I'm the most tenacious person alive. And I will not sleep until this book gets made. And there you have it.
Does this
So
mean I owe you $300 to be on your show? I saw that was one of the
uh,
perks.
I think it was only 200. Was
200,
it
maybe
300?
200.
Okay. I
Maybe
mean, come
200.
on, that would be, yeah, because that would be outrageous. No, I feel like I should be paying you.
No, no, no. We'll work out a trade.
Okay.
We'll work it
Sounds
out.
good. Yeah.
I'll have
Okay.
you on my channel when I return.
And I was gonna say the internet misses you. I don't know if you're
Thanks.
still doing your juggling videos, but your other videos always had like you're honestly one of my favorite. Like going on your show, I just love the chemistry we had, the rapport we had
Yeah, it was
talking about
fun.
comics, and you're one of my favorite people to watch
Oh,
too.
thanks.
And you're a great guy. And honestly, like for real, like you're my cheerleader in this, like because I know like, and I feel like just listening to you and Bill talk, like and just the things that Bill has said to me, you know, he knows that his time is done. He's passed the torch and he's
Yeah,
just ready to see someone
yep,
else pick it up.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's been waiting for someone to do it. And I thought, you only live once. This book has meant so much to me. It's the least I could do is try.
Absolutely, it's overdue. All the people who make the comics you guys love out there, they know Elementals and they were influenced by Elementals, and that's why they created those great comics. Part of why.
And it's just one book. You know, I hope this interests people enough to, you know, if it is public domain, then I encourage everyone and their brother to go out and make new Elementals comic books.
Yes.
You know, this is my take. This is my one thing. You know, it's like, as much as it meant to me, I don't want to spend the rest of my life
Right.
on it. This is my love letter, and I'll move on to the next. I already have some ideas cooking up. So, but for right now, it's all Elementals all day, 24 hours a day for the next until October 3rd. So bust out your debit cards, y'all, and uh, plunk down the 25 bucks it's going to take. If I get enough money, and how's this for a dare to the audience? If I get enough money, we're going to go treasury size and go to China and get it printed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but that takes like 10, I'd need like 10 to finish with 10 grand or more to do that, like I did
Got
on
it.
Big Bang. But other
That's
than that,
doable. We can do
it's
that.
it's at least going to be magazine size. It's going to be gorgeous, and it's going to have tons of old, new art, articles, interviews, pinups, everything that you want to see in the book is going to be there. Because I always make the kind of books that I want to read, and they're good books.
Right.
So I guess we'll end it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being here, Dan. I totally appreciate you. Um, hit the description of this video and get on that Kickstarter because we need your help. We want the Elementals to be resurrected for a third time and get some of the attention they deserve. So I will bring you more soon. Thanks again, Dan, and talk to y'all later. Bye.